What's a dead giveaway that someone is not a good person? If they brag about how they pulled a fast one on other people, as if to say how smart, slick they are and everyone else is stupid. I guess a subtle one is them treating you differently in public versus how they treat you privately. These can both go either way. Treating people well only if they can benefit from them in some way. If they treat you well, but treat random people like shit, they aren't good people. And they'll treat you like shit too if you ever stop being of use to them. They never apologize. When telling you about issues in their life and everything is everyone else's fault, no accountability. A complete lack of compassion. Unless it's about themselves. Putting people down for fun. Never accepting responsibility for shitty behavior. Everything is always about them. Everything, even if you're going through something difficult. Suddenly they've been through the same thing. But worse. Even when they're being generous, it's for public display and not from a genuine place. Sulking and throwing fits to get their way. Yes, I am thinking of a specific person. It's always about them. They're always the hero or always the victim in their stories. Can't take criticism but probably dish it out to everyone else. They're never wrong. They remember you are their friend only when they need something from you. Nothing is ever their fault. People who are always trying to manipulate a situation from the smallest things to the bigger issues. It is exhausting to be around them. They constantly say or do things where their only justification for doing so is, it was just a joke, when called out on it. When they cannot bring themselves to celebrate someone else's success. What was for you the best part of the pandemic? I got furloughed. It meant I got to spend the pandemic shielding with my wife before she passed away last year. Words can't describe how grateful I am that I got so much extra quality time with my wife. Would have been impossible to have that much time if I'd had to be working full time. I had two friends that I hung out with almost every night. They were just as isolated as I was during the day, so we weren't too worried about passing anything. None of us got sick. Spent the nights drinking, having bonfires and talking. Good times. Some of the best. No traffic. Ironically, not getting sick. Not having to get up early in the morning. Work from home has been legitimized in an unprecedented way. People standing 6+ feet away from me at all times. My hermiting was normal. Spending time with aging pets. I had to put down a cat and the last few months he got to lay on my keyboard and purr all day. I also have an old dog who is nearing the end and I'm really happy I had those months at home with her. Prior to the pandemic, I traveled every week for work. For 6 years, I only saw my wife and kids on the weekends. And even then, I didn't get to see my wife much since she worked most weekends. Since the pandemic, I haven't had to travel at all, and have a new, much better relationship with my wife and kids. My girlfriend and I decided to quarantine together even though we had only been dating for 6 months, and, honestly, I didn't know if it would last. Better to not be alone. Though, I lost my job. She was a PhD student. We were strapped for cash. But we spent every evening cooking incredible food that was as delicious as it was calming to cook. She is Iranian and I learned how unique Persian food was. She learned from her grandmother starting when she was 5 years old. I had a crazy idea. Let's sell it. We started advertising on Nextdoor. Put together a menu with one entree for every day of the week with sides and starters. We started working at 10 a.m. I was the sous chef in customer relations while she studied. So I would be chopping onions and garlic, searing eggplant, marinating lamb and talking and texting with customers. I had all of the takeout containers prepped for every customer by 4 and then she would do her magic. Pickup was at 6 outside of our apartment and then I did deliveries afterwards. We became so popular that we were pushing out 20 to 40 meals per day. It kept us afloat financially. So for me, the best part of the pandemic, we worked together like a well-oiled machine, had fun, solved problems, and were a comfort during the very scary times, and jumped in bed whenever we had a free moment. We got married a year later, and I have no idea if we would have without the pandemic. Wife died August 2020 of cancer. The lockdowns meant I could grieve without any pressure. In the long run, this saved my life. Who was the most unlikable main character of a TV show? As a kid I loathed Dr. Smith on Lost in Space. I didn't understand why they didn't just fucking murder him. Caillou. Caillou, that bald whiny little punk, is the worst. Lena Dunham's character on Girls. Piper Chapman on Orange is the New Black. Dr. Phil. Carrie Bradshaw. Unbelievably entitled, shallow, spoiled and treated all of her friends like shit. I don't enjoy the show for what it is. It's my favorite hate watch just to see the new depths Carrie will sink to every episode. Especially heinous was when she got herself into debt by tanking her relationship with the guy who bought and was renovating her apartment and turned down money offered by 2 of her best friends, just so she could bitch out the one that didn't offer. And for some reason that friend ended up giving her the money. And she tried to cheat on her husband with a guy that she had previously cheated on. And she replaced her old friend with a younger, more diverse version when they fell out. I've watched a lot of WW2 documentaries and that Hitler guy is kind of a jerk. Every single character on Succession is the worst person in the world. Elizabeth Keene. I have only watched half of Blacklist, but there are many things I don't like about her. Majority of the time she chooses the wrong choice of what she needs to do. It's almost comically funny how slow and dumb her decisions are. Damn near everyone on Shameless but Frank or Debbie fight for the top spot. I hated Piper in Orange is the New Black. What should you never cheap out on? Legal advice. Laser corrective eye surgery. I remember some TV ads a few years ago saying, come to generics, or whatever they were called. Prices from only £399 per eye. I don't know how much it should cost. But I don't want to save money on people cutting parts of my eyes open with lasers. I don't want the sale price. I want to pay. Shoes and a bed. You spend a good chunk of your life in one or the other. Follow up. Paying for a brand name item and paying for a quality product that meets your needs are not always the same thing. Tattoos. I don't really care how good of a deal you got on your new monstrosity. Tools. Buy cheap tools once. If you use it enough to wear it out or break it, buy the nicest version of that tool you can afford. Condoms. Your teeth. You only get the one set and tooth infections can set you back tens of thousands. Brush twice a day. Floss a couple times a week. And do you best to scrounge up the $200 a year for a professional cleaning. Opening parenthesis. However, doing more than this is better if possible. Running shoes. I'm suffering from years of cheap runners. Dental care. Tattoos. The PSU in your computer. If you're a hiker, camper, backpacker, your actual backpack. What drink is a 10 out of 10? There's a melon cream soda in Japan. The bottle has penguins on it. I only came by it twice. But both times I was very hot and wanted a yummy, cold, refreshing drink. It's been a few years and I still think about how good it was every now and then. Thai iced tea. I had a banana smoothie at a music festival in Hungary. It was the single best thing I've ever experienced in my life. The perfect balance of sweetness, temperature and texture. I went back every morning to the same stall for a banana smoothie. Never had anything like it. Mango lassi. All day I face the barren waste without the taste of water. Cool water. Piña colada on a beach. Cold water at 2:34 a.m. with a dry-ass throat. Orange crush once every 5 years. Water. Proper Mai Tai. Lemonade that's slightly tart and subtly sweet. A single plum, floating in perfume, served in a man's hat.